Shalom. I like to give all honor, praises, and glory to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, taught me this truth. And salutations to the Akim. Peace and salutations to the Akim around the four corners preaching this word with truth and sincerity. Just coming back in the spirit and theme of prophecy. Got a news article that I got from brother out in South Carolina, a gym in South Carolina, 08. I think his name is Manata Zakba, the elder out there in South Carolina. So I'm going to read it, get a scripture or two. The Lord's willingness to be edifying. This means we're one step closer to the Armageddon. Alright, this is from Uncaptured Media. It says U.S. authorizes CIA mercenaries to run biometric concentration camps in Gaza Strip. And so, like, as you read, the title speaks for itself. United States authorizes CIA mercenaries to run biometric concentration camps in Gaza Strip. It says a private intelligence corporation billed as Uber for war zones is preparing to create what Israel hopes will be the model for supplanting Hamas rule in Gaza. And before we even get into it, I looked up biometrics, and this is the Google definition, and this is the AI overview. It says biometrics are measurable biological and behavioral characteristics that are used to automatically recognize individuals. Biometrics can include fingerprints, irises, voices, and faces. So that's biometrics. And then it has a definition down here.
Biometrics.
Says the automated recognition of individuals by means of unique physical characteristics, typically for the purposes of security. The application of statistical analysis to biological data. So they're gonna try to lock down the Gaza Strip. Biometric concentration camps. Let me read a little bit of this. It says the Biden administration has approved the deployment of 1,000 CIA-trained private mercenaries as part of a joint U.S.-Israeli plan to turn Gaza's apocalyptic rubblescape into a high-tech dystopia. So before we continue, I looked up the word mercenary.
Mercenary.
Simple Google definition, and it says for a noun, a professional soldier hired to serve in a foreign army, or primarily concerned with making money at the expense of ethics. So a mercenary is nothing but a gun for hire. Oh yeah, Salakia. And I looked up the word dystopia. This is from Merriam-Webster dictionary.
Dystopia.
It says, an imagined world or society in which people led wretched, dehumanized, fearful lives. So, like how a dystopia is the opposite of a utopia. You know how utopia is basically a paradise? Dystopia is basically a hellhole. and that's what Babylon the Great is turning into. A hellhole, if it's not already. Starting with Al Atatra, a village in the northwestern Gaza Strip. The plan calls to build what the Israeli Daily Ynet calls humanitarian bubbles, turning the remains of villages and neighborhoods into tiny concentration camps, cut off from their environs and surrounded and controlled by mercenaries or hired guns. This comes as Israel carries out daily massacres and ethnic cleansing in northern Gaza, basically genocide, enacting the proposal known as the General's Plan, originally crafted by former National Security Chief Giora Eland to turn Gaza into a place where no human being can exist. And when it says Israel, it's not talking about the Israel that the Israelites talk about. It's not talking about that. When they say Israel, they're talking about them Israelis. You know, them 1948ers, them small hats, them imposters that's in our homeland. That's what it's talking about when it says Israel. Because we're in no position to carry out daily massacres and ethnic cleansing in northern Gaza. We don't have any military. I'm talking about the Israelites, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. We're basically vulnerable people, you know, just waiting to get protected and delivered from the Lord. It goes on to read, the plan approved by White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan calls for the Israeli military to clear out pockets of Palestinian resistance, which it has failed to achieve, demonstrated by the recent killing of Israeli Colonel Hassan Daksa, the highest-ranking officer to lose his life in the year-long war. 48 hours after stamping out resistance, they plan to erect separation walls around the neighborhood, forcing the residents and no one else to enter and exit using biometric identification under the CIA contractor's control. Those who do not accept the biometric regime would be refused humanitarian aid. And to be honest, I was watching Elder Manata Zakba's video. I looked at the comments, and I saw that Apostle Tahar put a comment saying that Gaza is going to become a 15-minute city, and I thumbed it up because I agree. This is basically what is going to come to pass. You know, they're trying to turn Gaza into a 15-minute city with biometrics, Where you have to scan your face, scan your eyes, scan your hand, you know, like they do in China. And like they're doing somewhat in some cities in America. They already have 15-minute cities in America. I did a video on that a couple weeks ago. It says this plan, first reported by Israeli journalist Shlomi Eldar, allocates $90 million for the residents to rebuild their homes and calls to appoint a local sheikh to the position of head of the council. It says the plan is a 21st century reboot of Washington's infamous failed strategic Hamlet program during its war in Vietnam in the 1960s. Updated with a modern biometric program, the U.S. military industrial complex has incorporated into its operations since, in particular, the beginning of the so-called War on Terror. The U.S. has even created a little-known agency called the Defense Forensics and Biometrics Agency to advance this. DFBA. Let me see if I could play this video.
Are you who you say you are? Determining Securing identity has never been more important to the security of our nation. The Defense Forensics and Biometrics Agency, or DFBA, ensures that the advancements within the Department of Defense Forensics and Biometrics enterprise are being made cohesively and support identity activities. A network of entities make up the biometric and forensic enterprise outlined by the acronym JIIM-IA. The joint interagency partners and our multinational portion of the enterprise are connected to 3 biometric hubs for the DoD, DHS, DOJ. DoD manages biometrics collected overseas during military operations. DHS manages the collection of this information for homeland security purposes through means such as transportation and border security, and DOJ manages it for criminal justice purposes within the United States. Internationally, intergovernmental sharing agreements ensure that threat actors and criminals can still be connected across borders. Industry and academia are also a part of the enterprise and provide fast, flexible, innovative problem solving for government challenge sets. The enterprise aims to identify threat actors across all domains. This includes areas of active combat at international borders and military posts outside the United States. Within the maritime domain, at our national borders, at installations within the U.S., and within the enterprise itself. When identity is only checked against biographic data, such as a name, bad actors have an easier time evading detection. Your biometric identifiers, such as your fingerprint, iris, or face, follow you for life and are much more challenging to alter. In concert with forensics, which provides the material evidence linking or denying linkage of a person to a hostile act or crime, these identifiers make it harder for threat actors to conceal their identities across geographic locations. DoD has traditionally employed forensic science to solve criminal investigations, inform medical findings, conduct foreign material exploitation, and enhance the joint forces' ability to account for missing service members from past conflicts. U.S. forces have also employed forensic science beyond its traditional roles to military operations where it has proven to be a critical capability in the fight against terrorists, insurgents, criminals, and other threat actors. DFBA supports the forensic and biometric enterprise by ensuring the readiness, sustainment, integration, and interoperability of capabilities. Through championing resources for the enterprise and initiatives that support combatant commanders, DFBA aids in strengthening our national defense. To defeat our enemies, we must know who they are. DFBA stands ready to deny the enemy anonymity.
Yeah, so there you have it. DFBA. This is the works of the Esau, so-called white man, damn devil. And you best believe that's coming to Babylon, aka America. They're not just only doing that in the Gaza Strip. They're gonna try to do that globally. It says Uber for war zones. The company at the forefront of this plan is called Global Delivery Company, described in its promotional materials as a Uber for war zones. Israeli-American businessman Moti Kahana owns it and employs several top Israeli and American military intelligence officials, including retired U.S. Navy Captain Michael Durham, retired U.S. Special Forces Captain Justin Sapp, former Israeli Military Intelligence Division head Yossi Cooperwasser, and former Israeli Military Chief Intelligence Officer David Tazer. No, let me see if I could play this. The Global Delivery Company.
When crisis hits, GDC is there for you. A comprehensive security solution for companies, government agencies, and nonprofits living or operating in high-risk areas. Think of us as Uber for war zones. In one simple click, using our app or dedicated phone lines, we activate our entire platform to address your emergency needs, be it evacuation assistance or delivery of humanitarian supplies. Our expert teams get your people out safely and effectively, provide emergency services, or deliver life-saving medicine, resources, and food, ensuring critical supplies reach those who need them most, no matter the situation. With local teams operating in over 100 countries supported by a 24/7 command center, we react swiftly and effectively to any crisis at the push of a button, even in the most dangerous environments. War zones, conflict areas, or natural disasters, you can count on GDC. GDC, we deliver.
There you go. Says Kahana has played a key role in the dirty war against Syria in the 2010s and worked with the CIA-backed Free Syrian Army to provide food and medical care to militants and civilians alike. GDC has also been involved in Ukraine, where it collaborated with the Zionist organization, the American Joint Distribution Committee, to operate a refugee camp in Romania near its border with Ukraine. He has also been in negotiations to free the former Israeli military intelligence officer Elizabeth Terskov, who was detained in Iraq in 2023. And here's a picture of him with a small hat. I'm going to skip down. It says the GDC's CIA mercenaries would be in full control of humanitarian aid, thereby supplanting Hamas and ending its governance, they figure, achieving a long-term goal of the Israeli war. Yeah, that's basically what they want. They want control over the resources. Hired mercenaries would have control over the resources, so they would dictate who gets what in that city, in that concentration camp. Yeah, that's basically it. Man. It's all, how would you put it? This is all the works of Esau. This is what Esau usually wants to do. This is the book of Micah, chapter 2, verse 1. It says, woe to them that, and you see the subheading reads, woe to oppressors. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. And this is what Esau wants to do. This is what Esau has been doing. This is his MO. Modus operandi. You know? Esau follows the same plan or the same playbook all the time. Go into a land, steal its resources, and set up leaders to dictate to the people. Matter of fact, let me get this. This is the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 2, verse 11. It says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. And then you read that in the NLT. So that Satan will not outsmart us, for we are familiar with his evil schemes. Yeah, and matter of fact, let's look up that word Satan. Yeah, when you look up the word Satan, it says adversary, one who opposes another in purpose or act, the name given to. But when you go down to it's in the definitions, you see it says a Satan-like man. Satan is Shaitan, which means adversary, an adversary-like man, and that doesn't fit nobody else but the so-called white man, Esau. That's Satan's, so the spiritual demon Satan, or spiritual angel Satan. That's his physical counterpart. There's the so-called white man, the Edomites, and specifically those small hatters, the 1948ers. What else I was gonna get? Let me see if they. Oh yeah, this is Isaiah chapter 10, verse 1. It says, "Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed." Speaking about the DOD, they have a directive that they just passed, 5240.01, which allows the military to assist the civilian law enforcement, and allows them to use lethal force, deadly force on the American citizens. So that's an unrighteous. That's one of the many unrighteous decrees that Esau is decreeing and writing. Verse 2, it says, "To turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless." And this is what Esau plans on doing, especially with them hired mercenaries in the Gaza Strip. And you know they're mercenaries, so you know that most likely they're going to be raping the women, exploiting the children, trying to kill off the men. You know, doing all types of debauchery in that land. You know? But, you know, I just wanted to bring this out, blowing the trumpet. Lord's will, you is edified. Until next time, we're going to say shalom to the elect.